Hey there, my name is Mercedes. I'm a career coach and I created my own amazing job search planner when I launched my last job search, and I'm telling you it did wonders. So today I am telling you exactly what I did, what I learned, and how you can really use what I learned with 5 tips to really optimize your job search. So let's get into it. Yes, I am a career coach, but I still do have a 9 to 5. Right now, I'm a DE&I manager, and I made a career pivot. So what I wanted to do is really use this last job search to really help those who are my clients, my mentees, and of course in my community who are coming to my channels to really learn more things. So I wanted to make sure that I really was specific and reflecting on what worked for me this job search. Absolutely, the job search process is changing. Before, you could apply to far less jobs and still get a lot of traction, but even for me as a career coach and an HR professional, somebody who has screened so many resumes, interviewed so many people, I still had to apply to over 100 jobs, okay? So I wanted to really allow you to understand that if you're not getting as far as you thought you would be at this point, it is totally okay. Like I said, things are shifting and I want to give you some advice. So I'm going to walk you through everything that I did, and I'm going to even show you the planner as well as the to-do list that I created to help keep myself organized, motivated, and moving forward in my job search, even though, yes, I was getting a lot of rejection. So let's do it. And one thing before we dive right into the tips, I am going to show you my actual job search to-do list, everything that I went through in my job search from start to finish, so that you know you're not missing anything and you can be successful and really have a strategy behind your job search of do this, then this, then this. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so my first tip, which really seems kind of simple, but in practice it's not, is to really start with clarity. So for me, when I started my job search, I really thought that I was just going to continue in talent acquisition or recruitment, if you're not familiar with that term. I thought that's where I was really going to continue with my career. And as I really started to figure out what I wanted, I figured out that I really love DE&I, and that's where I wanted to move into. If you're not familiar with DE&I as well, sorry, it's just rolls off the tongue for me. It's diversity, equity, and inclusion. So you're working to create a more diverse, inclusive, and equitable work environment, okay? So I realized that really in a lot of my my resume and my interview, I was not really focused on where I wanted to be, right? And it showed in everything that I did. I sounded like a D&I person who was doing recruitment. Okay, so that will really hinder your job search. So I'm going to show you the process that I went through and how I organized my own self-discovery and clarity process in the planner. So let's go look at it.
Okay, so this is my little Notion planner, and I created the career clarity tab to really just give me the opportunity to get my ideas about what I wanted from my career in one place on paper. Well, I guess digitally on paper. Get it out using the Ikigai method. So this is just a copy of what it is, the Ikigai method, which means the reason for being, and there's 4 different areas that one should consider. So I did that for myself. So the first one is, what do I love? So I put down, I love HR, I love DE&I, coaching, training, and consulting. Those are things that I just really light up at work when I'm doing them. And then the next one is, what am I good at? So I love creative problem solving, teaching, training, coaching. Again, it can be in multiple areas. So not only do I love it, but I'm also good at it. I love strategy. I love project management. I love creating programs. And again, love recruitment and I'm good at recruitment and human resources. I looked out there for different types of jobs that I could be paid for, things that were an interest of me, things that I had kind of come across that I was interested in. This list could have probably been longer, but I was really clear on the things that I was most interested in, so I wrote them here. And then over here, I wrote down what the world needs. So of course, DE&I experts in coaching, better hiring practices, equitable practices. Like that's what I'm seeing out here as an issue for those that I'm working with and those that I'm not yet working with. So when I looked at all of these different things, right, DE&I program manager really came up for me, and specifically in recruitment and HR. Now, if you have watched and you have been here to know what career path I went into, I became a DE&I or a diversity manager with a focus on HR, okay? So this exact clarity, which is what eventually led me to really brand myself correctly, it started here with asking myself these 4 questions, and you can do it too. And these questions are in my planner, and you'll get a very similar layout or approach. So I'll show it to you now. It will be empty, but it'll be what you have there. Oops, I can't find it. Oh, there it is. So it'll be a very similar layout. Again, this is the home page, and then you click Career Clarity, and I even put some training and some resources there on your end so that it can just be a little bit easier to navigate. And yeah, so you can change this for whatever you like, but there it is.
Okay, so the second thing I did was that I created a to-do list. It is so hard, especially when you have so much going on, you have competing commitments, to really stay organized in your job search, right? Like I have a full-time job, a very demanding job, was a manager, and so I really had to focus on the prize, right? Making that transition. I'm also, as you know, running a career coaching business outside of work. So there was so much to keep track of where I was. And so I created a to-do list so that I knew exactly what I was doing next in my job search. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that to-do list. And I'm not saying that this is the to-do list for everyone. It's the one that worked for me. So make sure that it doesn't have to look exactly like mine, but it really definitely needs to help you stay organized and create a step-by-step process to move through your job search in a timely manner. Okay, cool. Okay, number 3 was that I actually created job search habits, right? When you have a habit around your job search, it really helps you to keep moving when you get all those rejections. And like I said, I applied to 100 jobs. So it's inevitable that you're going to get some rejections, okay? And so you have to really make sure that you have a process so that you're not like having all of this momentum in the beginning, but not really having habits ongoing, right? Because most job searches, they take a while. I've had plenty of my clients have 3-month job searches, and I've had some of them have 6-month job searches or longer. So it really just depends on how you're trying to pivot, what's going on in your industry, and things like that. So I'm going to show you and walk you through, again, in the planner, each of my habits. So let's go.
Okay, so I'm actually going to show you this in the template instead of my actual job search planner, because to be honest with y'all, it has all of my personal business in there, okay? So you're not going to see my habits if we go there. So I'm just going to show you this one because y'all don't need to be up in my business, even though I love y'all. So this is how I kind of cleaned it up for you all, right? So there is a tab under your job search to-do list that has job search habits. And I think at the end of the day, there's so many different things that we could do in our job search. But I think in order for us to truly be effective, there are only 5 things that we need to do on a regular basis. I'd recommend do this at an interval of at least a week. So the great thing about Notion is that you can actually set these habits to reoccur and show up so that you are reminded every week to do them. The first one is to network with companies. So it doesn't have to be a lot of companies. This is really what you feel like is appropriate and also fits into your schedule. So for instance, the goal could be to network with one company, right? That just means reach out to somebody at that company, reach out on LinkedIn. Shoot, if you even have the opportunity to go do a drive-by, okay, go say hello, drop off your resume, build a connection in some way, shape, or form. The second one is network with your connection. So if you know that there's individuals who could really help you make contact somewhere, give insight to a position, a mentor, anybody that can really give you insight or support you in some way, help you to network, reach out to those people, connect with them, go to lunch, make genuine connections, right? Don't just use them for a job, but start to build, develop, and connect with those who are going to help you in your job search. The last thing is to always be following up, the next thing is to always be following up on your application. So those who just kind of apply and then forget about it, you're really doing yourself a disservice. Like, send a follow-up email, connect with somebody on LinkedIn who works at the company. Do something to actively engage after you apply, because it gives you another opportunity to get in somebody's face about that position. And there's nothing better than somebody seeing your email, seeing somebody get, your resume forwarded to them, and you getting another look at your application materials in some way, shape, or form, or maybe even additional consideration for an interview. Like, that happens. The next one is to add 5 jobs to your application tracker. Now, if you are somebody that's just going to actively apply as you see jobs, and you might not need this, but for me, I would go out there, I would look for maybe 5 to 10 jobs that I was really interested in. I would save them and I would apply to them, the top 5 in order of priority. So if I had more time, I would submit more applications, but I was applying to at least 5 jobs on a weekly basis. As I was moving through my job search and I had more of my job search tasks done, and I didn't need to dedicate as much time with that, I actually increased my applications to probably like 25 a week. Like I said, it was the struggle bus because the job market is changing. So you are going to have to apply for more jobs, but applying for 5 as you start out is a really good amount. And I love the planner because you can change this to like in progress, done, the priority, the date that you're going to do it. And then Notion has a really great function where you can go in here and set it to repeat at an interval and even get notified when that happens. Okay, so yeah, cool, that's it.
Hey, did you subscribe yet? It's kind of rude. I mean, you're here, at least frequently, and I haven't seen you subscribe yet. No, I'm just kidding. It's not rude, but go ahead and do it. Like, hang around, get some more career goodness. Okay, let's go back to the video. Okay, number 4, I cannot stress this enough. You need to organize your resume and your cover letters, okay? If you're not doing that, you're going to often rewrite your bullets. You're going to be having different cover letters that say different things. You're probably going to be making mistakes on your application, and it's probably not going to be as tailored as you need it to be. So you really want to have a central location and way to really organize your job search so that you are not being messy, not making mistakes, and not missing out on opportunities because you're really not able to keep your resume organized. So I would have a way of tracking where all of my bullets are. I would have different naming conventions for each of my resumes so that I could sort them in an organized fashion, and I would do the exact same for my cover letter. So let me show you that now.
Okay, so here is my little hub where I kept everything organized for my resumes, my cover letters, and I also kept interviewing stuff here too, but we are talking about really job search strategy, so I'm not going to go into that as much. But basically, I was keeping key information that I needed to switch out in my resume. So education pretty much stayed the same, but sometimes I would tweak my objectives and my statements. I would change my training information, and I would change a list of skills, right? Like to help me tailor for each position, but not lose stuff that I was working on. Okay, and then here I actually have a list of my resume. So in my job search, I had kind of switched from a more traditional resume to a Canva resume. So I have multiple copies here. And so I knew, right, this was a link to my Canva version. This was a link to my older resume, and I would kind of just use it based on what I thought was best for the company. And then I had one here that was for talent acquisition, and then and then another one that was for inclusive hiring. And so really y'all all are seeing a little bit more before I really got clarity, but really the best option for me was using my Canva one that I had fully tailored to DE&I. Also, if you really want a nice Canva resume template, I have mine available for purchase. You can purchase it below. And then for my cover letters, I had basically only 2 that I was really using. One was a DE&I program manager cover letter, and the other one was a cover letter for talent acquisition, again, because those were those only 2 areas that I was interested in. And I think the thing that is really honestly fabulous as you're going through, and you really need to think about the competencies and how you have that on your resume and really work through that. I kind of have this resume and interviewing database. So basically I would put all the competencies that I was finding in during my job search, you will see that I did not do all of these. I did the ones that were truly most important, and then I would go through them. So let's look at D&IB strategic planning. So I open that up, and then I have like a summary of what that means. And then I have a star story that's related to that. And then I have 2 bullets on my resume for what's aligned with this. And then I clicked yes, I added this to my resume, and then the associated keywords. There are certainly more ways that you can really tailor this to make it work. Like you could put interview questions in here if you wanted to prep that way. You could add more bullets, and you could relate it back to an application. And I'm going to show you my application tracker soon. And then I wrote out my star stories below here to really support this, so that I had really everything that I needed for my job search. So again, did this across the board for many different positions. That's kind of my older template. And I did clean it up for you all a little bit if, again, you want to get this template. So it's a little bit cleaner and nicer here. Again, I'm showing you like actually what I did, because I'm telling you like this is really what I did. And then if you all want to use that similar template, I left one here that's a little bit clean so you can see kind of how that looks. So yeah.
Okay, number 5, I really held the last tip as really the most important tip, because I feel like people don't really understand the importance of that. It's so important for you to have an application tracker. So you're like, what is an application tracker? No, I'm just kidding. You probably know what an application tracker is. But like, why is it important is probably what you're asking. So when you don't really remember the position, what was included in the job description, when you last followed up, you lose a lot of steam in your job search. So one, you could be getting some more attention in your job search if you were following up on your applications. The second thing is that not just your applications, actually interviews as well. The second thing is that by the time, a lot of times now, when you get to an interview or your final interview or whatever for a job, you've since forgotten all of the application materials, and sometimes they send it to you, sometimes they don't. But you want to make sure that you keep detailed notes about how you tailored yourself for that position, how the position was defined, and different things like that, so you can be consistent with how you're moving through the recruitment process, right? So you know what worked, and you know what was on the initial job, so you continue to tailor and hone your transferable skills for that position, right? And the last thing is that you want to keep a running note, right? Who did you talk to? What were the outcomes? What type of questions that they asked? And you want to keep all of those in a centralized place so that it can help you prep, especially as we move further and further in the application process, because it's going to get harder, right? Questions are going to be harder. They're going to be asking you different questions. So the more organized that you can be, the better. I'm going to show you that now.
All right, y'all. So this one is honestly a little bit messy. I'm telling you, I worked out of this, okay? Like, I'm not just playing with y'all on the internet, on these YouTube streets. Okay, so on here, just for ease for me, I actually did define like what my job search strategy was going to be. And so I actually looked at LinkedIn networking and company research to really support my job search. And then in terms of job boards, I primarily use LinkedIn and Google Jobs. I did find some on Built-in and Levels, FYI. But anyway, honestly, good old LinkedIn and Google Jobs is for me. And then these were literally the job board keywords that I was using. So when y'all think you have to use a specific job title to find opportunities, like I was literally just typing in diversity, because I didn't want to accidentally screen things out, because some, as you'll see down here, there were so many different titles for essentially DE&I managers. So down here, I had like an application tracker. So I would put, as soon as I applied, I would go here, I would add a position into the application tracker. I'd put the title, the company name, and I would post the, sorry, I actually had a template. I totally forgot I did that. So I'm adding it here. Okay, cool. So there it is. And I would put the position details here. I put any information on the company here, and then I would put interview details for every single interview that I took, and I would even take notes here. Or a lot of times I will write written notes, but I would write the written notes and then I would still put them in here later. And then I would update this as I went through. Okay, so did I network? Did I research? The date that I applied, the date that I followed up, thank you letters, all that stuff. URLs, job descriptions, URLs, career page URLs, salary, the competencies that were located, and then where I was finding the positions. So here's really where it becomes helpful, right? Because you may not really kind of remember where all of the positions are and where you applied. So as soon as I was interested in a position, I would add their name under saved, like I'm intending to apply. And then when I applied, I would move them to applied, and then I was done, I would move them, or basically whatever my status is, I might move them to interviewing or any of these other statuses here. So I'm negotiating offer, accepted, withdrawn, whatever. And then I would be able to see the bigger list here. And I know you all are seeing 9. That's because I'm sorting them, and I didn't use this at the very beginning. I used a different tracker in Google Spreadsheets, but I moved over to Notion as my organizational tool. Again, there were levels to this, but I know I said at the beginning 100, and you're like, why doesn't it say 100 on here? I know. Okay. And then so then you can see here, like, inactive jobs. Like, y'all see I get rejected too. Okay, I was updating it here. No responses. I get no responses too. And, like, positions that I withdrew from. Okay, so there's definitely a lot of different ways that you can tailor this to what works for you. You don't need all of these different fields. You don't need all of these different hidden groups, groups that I have, but it's something that was really helpful for me. And I will show you the revised, updated one, because again, this one is a little messy. So in my template, I actually have it on the main page because you are literally going to be in this application tracker every single day. So I cleaned up the job list a little bit, created it, cleaned up the statuses a little bit, and then again have it where you can see the inactive jobs. And I just left one there so you would be able to really see what it looked like and how you would adjust all of those titles, okay? Fields, sorry. You can see here where I put interviewing notes in here. I put questions that I had. Like, use this as your tool, okay?
Okay, so I have walked you through the big 5 things that I have learned, how it helped me, and why it's important for you to embed this in your job search. You've also seen a lot of my planner thus far, and the great thing about this planner is that it is accessible to you, okay? You do not have to go through and recreate this. Of course, if you're like, don't really like Notion too much, don't like the format, then you can definitely take the tools and tips that you learned in this video to create a tool that works for you. But if you really liked how Notion was set up, really liked how I used it, I actually offer it for $29. You can get that entire portal as an organizational tool for you, and there's a training video that comes with it. It's going to tell you exactly how to set everything up, exactly how to edit things, move things around, and make it really work for you. It's unlimited ways that you can I shouldn't say unlimited, but there's so many, it's near unlimited, the amount of ways that you can really update and tailor Notion to work for you. So if that's something that you want to have for you to advance your job search, stay organized, and do the thing, transition into your dream job, okay? And you want that planner to help you do it, you can find the link to the planner below. I will also say that if you would like to work with me to set that planner up, there's also an option for that. You can totally do this independently, but if you really want somebody to help you walk through this, I would love to do that with you. And yes, it's beautiful. So why not have something beautiful, something that will keep you organized and also motivated, right? Because for me, something pretty is going to keep me motivated, okay? So I hope if you decide to get the planner, I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions about it, just let me know. You can shoot me a message on any of the social media platforms that are available to you that are linked below, as well as the comments below. So, okay, I hope you have fun with the planner. Okay, so I did tell you that if you stayed until the end, I was going to walk you through more specifically my job search to-do list. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my computer so we can do that now.
All right, so y'all know I am just a little tiny bit biased, but I really think that this is one of the best things about having this specific job search template, because a lot of times getting started with your job search is just so overwhelming. There are literally so many things to do, and it was so important for me to be like, not only is this planner going to help you stay organized, but it's going to keep you on target for actually moving forward with your job search. So these are the specific actions that I think every single person needs to do in their job search, and I actually aligned it with the pages. So that way you're not guessing, how do I use this planner? How do I track what I'm doing? How do I move forward with the right things first? It's just going to take you through this in order. So the first thing is to create that career clarity by using the career clarity page. The second one is to complete the job search goals page, right? Like you don't want to be, yes, you want clarity, but you don't want to be chasing all of these different opportunities and roles. You really need to get clear. Then you need to complete the job search mission section, and then your dream job page, which helps you get really clear about, again, not just the career path, but also the job that you want. What does that look like? What's the compensation? What is your work arrangement? Like, get clear about that, because if you do that later in your job search, it is going to, you're not going to be happy about it. Okay, so the next one is to research your dream job, then create a professional development plan so that you are able to actually get that dream job or move forward in your long-term career path, right? So it helps you with that. Next is the professional branding page. Okay, that's where you start to align your skills with the job that you really want. Then you write a resume. Okay, so you have to do all this before you write your resume, because again, clarity is everything in your job search. Then the cover letter, then update LinkedIn. Y'all be wanting to do LinkedIn first. Like, y'all be driving me crazy with this. Start first with clarity, then your resume, then you can think about LinkedIn, okay? You also want to start to create some star stories, so you're prepping for interviews even before you have interviews, whether you call that manifestation or preparedness, okay? Doesn't matter to me, just do it. Then we have here your job search strategies, okay? So you want to get clear on what you're going to do, the habits that you are going to create around those job search strategies, whether that's networking or using LinkedIn or whatnot. Then you definitely want to make sure you start to research your salary, okay? Because the worst thing that you want to do is go into an interview and don't know what your worth is. And then the last thing is to prepare for onboarding, right? You got that offer letter, okay? And here are those habits that I was talking about. So you can have your habits show up on your task page, so you really have one place to check every single day. And what I love is that you can actually really track all these habits and tasks by putting them into different statuses. So you can say like, okay, I'm doing this now, it's in progress, or it's done. And you can also do this by priority, right? So it's like, okay, I want to do these 5 things now, do this next, do this later, and things that really like you can do, but they're not a priority for you to do right now, you can put it in their no priority. You can create as many additional to-dos. So if you start to track like your interviews, like maybe you need to respond to a recruiter or something on here, you can add this to this tracker, right? And if you want to become a Notion girly like me, like you can go anywhere from here. All right. I hope that helps.
All right, love. I hope that really helped you with your job search. I hope you felt inspired. I hope that you felt like this was doable now, especially when you have a plan, a way to stay organized, a strategy, clarity, all of the things that we talked about today. It's really going to help you move forward. If you have any questions or anything, you always know where you can reach me. I'm always happy to provide guidance or help any way that I can, so let me know. If you know another Black woman who really needs this type of resource or really needs this type of information, go ahead and share this video. Like it, subscribe, whatever you want to do, but show your girl some love, okay? And I'll see you for the next video. Bye!